Hi, so today I wanted to talk about false awakenings, which is something that just about everyone has experienced, though most people don't know this term. So you've probably had this experience. You wake up, you're doing something you normally do in the morning, brushing your teeth, making coffee, whatever, and either you become lucid, you realize that actually you didn't wake up and you're dreaming, or you wake up again and then you realize, oh, I guess that was a dream. I didn't really wake up that time. And this can happen 3, 4, 5, 10 times in a row, and it can be really disorienting and frustrating and even frightening, but it's also another opportunity to have a lucid dream. And a lot of times false awakenings are lucid. You dream that you woke up, but maybe you realize something is off. You look in the mirror and you look funny. Something is just off about your environment, and maybe you realize that you're dreaming. Or even if you don't realize that, you might have several of these in a row, and so you'll realize the last time it happened was a false awakening, but you really think that you're awake this time. And so it's just important to be aware of these and understand that they are an opportunity for having a lucid dream. If you just had a false awakening and you woke up now, you should realize that you may very well be in another one, and you should do what's called a reality check, which is just you should ask yourself sincerely whether or not you're dreaming, and you might want to do something to test that, like you could try to push through a solid surface, or a lot of people look at their clock and just notice that the numbers are sort of off, or just look around your environment and see if everything makes logical sense. Often in a false awakening, you're in your home. You're dreaming that you woke up, so you're in your bedroom or your kitchen or something, and so I recommend just looking around and seeing if everything is as it normally would be, and just sincerely thinking about whether or not you're awake. And again, as I've said before, if you're truly doubting whether or not you're awake, you're almost certainly asleep, because most of us don't truly doubt whether or not we're awake when we're awake. So yeah, just know that that experience that's very common, most people, almost everyone I think has had that experience, is common. It has a name, it's called false awakening, and it's an opportunity for a lucid dream. Now, one problem with this that I've heard others talk about is they have several false awakenings in a row. They don't ever really become lucid when it's happening, or when they finally realize that they're dreaming, they instantly wake up again and the process starts over. My advice for that would be to try to modify your expectations, because expectations are very important when it comes to dreams. And if that's the experience you've always had, it might be easy for you to believe that's the experience you're always going to have. So one thing that you could do is try to visualize yourself having a false awakening and having it go a different way. So instead of you realizing you're dreaming and immediately waking up into a new dream, you could visualize yourself becoming lucid, realizing you're dreaming, and having that not happen, and having things play out the way that you would like them to. That might sound overly simple or a little strange, but really don't underestimate the power of expectations. If something happens one way in one of your dreams, it's easy to fall into a trap of thinking it's going to happen that way every time. And again, dreams come from your own brain, so if you're convinced that this is the only way that this is going to play out, then that becomes a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. So again, just know that that has a term. It's a false awakening, and it's a great opportunity to have a lucid dream. So as much as it can be kind of frustrating, especially if you think you got to get up and get ready to go to work, recognize this is an opportunity for a lucid dream. Personally, it tends to happen to me between alarms in the last stage of REM, because I am someone who uses 3 or 4 or 5 alarms to get up in the morning, and so it's typically in the 10-minute snooze window that I fall asleep and dream about waking up. So that's another thing to be aware of. This, I think, is pretty common in late morning, last stage of REM, and especially if you're someone who hits the snooze button a lot or has many different alarms to wake up in the morning, and just try to take advantage of this as a lucid dreaming opportunity. Once again, I'm going to keep making these videos. I have 1,000,001 things to talk about on this topic, so videos are going to come out every Thursday, and if you're trying to increase your lucid dreams and your dream recall, subscribing is honestly a good idea because it'll help you to think about this topic more often. Videos come out every Thursday. If you like this, I'd really appreciate it. If you share it with your friends, I'd really appreciate it. And good luck next time you have a false awakening.